Alright, what's going on? Welcome to another one. This one's filmed a week after the last video, and if you're up to date with the order of things, you're going to look at this and go, why didn't you film it? After work, I've just been tinkering, and this is where we're at. Sorry for not filming anything, but I've made the frame that holds the K-frame up. So now we have the block bolted, the bell housing, the trans, and the extension housing, and then it's these pieces of wood to support it. So that's exciting, we got that bit done. Now we tackle the rear end. So I've got the IRS rear end at the workshop. I'm gonna go rip it to pieces, squeeze as much of it as I can in the parts washer to clean it up, and I'll make it all nice. And then I'll bring it all back here, start measuring. All right, here we are. We're at the workshop. We got 2 jumpers on because it's bloody cold. And we got this thing, IRS rear end, out of a Series 1 AU gear. So, there you have it. Yeah, it's cold. I got 2 jumpers on, and I'm gonna rip this rear end to pieces so then I can start mounting it up on the jig. Here we are. We've got the rear end in bajillions of pieces, all clean. So plan is, I've got the subframe just sitting there on a block of wood, and then this beam here just sitting. Then I've just bolted the center in, and then now I'm gonna bolt the lower control arms, maybe the uppers, and then pretty much put it all back together so I can ping the center line of the hubs and mark them, find my center lines, and then I'll be able to make some more measurements and go from there. So right now I've got to find my center. Once I find my center, I can move forward. Alright, the camera's been bugging out. I don't know what's going on. I've got this camera charging. It's a very, very nice camera. Alright, we've got a different camera. This one here is the dad cam. It is playing silly buggers and not really working. Alright, with this camera, I'm hoping it's focused. I can't see what you're looking at, so this is where we got to. Just did a big clean in the shed. Yeah, pretty happy with what we got to. I'll give you a look. I haven't made much in the way of extra frame and just extra stuff progress, but I've made a lot of progress with working out where all this needs to sit. So the subframe is sitting too low. It needs to sit higher because those wheels are roughly 320 mil off. The hub center is roughly 320 mil off the jig, which is what my rear wheel size will match with or correspond. I don't know the word, I'm not a scientist. But yeah, with the wheels I want to run, the hub center will be 320 millimeters off the ground is what I'm trying to say, and that's where that's roughly set within 5 mil, pretty close enough to see my CV angle is pretty shite, pretty bad. I mean, gonna have to raise the subframe higher to correct that CV angle because that is no good. I'm not going to have much travel before I'm at a pretty bad angle. I'm going to have to make this frame thing here taller. Spacing under there would actually work pretty well because I run into this issue I didn't think about before. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty dark. I've had to notch the rail here because it's hitting on the subframe. Alright, what's going on? We got the nice camera. I hope you can see me alright, because I can't see what I'm pointing at. The camera's flipped around with no back screen. Anyway, that's beside the point. We're at the workshop. Everything's packed in here because we got storm coming in. This place is packed in like a tin of sardines. They're making more of those, I don't know what you call them. I'm going to call them the wheel jig things. I'm sick of the word jig. I've said that word that many times in the past little while. That's the first step, is setting the height for the subframe. So, enough talking. That pass is looking good until I ran out of wire at the end, but I've got a box of wire down there. I bought a spare box of wire, so in case that happened, I've got more wire. Good to have spares, but have a look at this weld. I'm pretty happy with that. I am no expert. Yes, I should have ground down the surface to make it nice and beautiful, but that is going to be well strong enough for what I need it for. I've also got the other one. Yep. All good to go. Alright, this is where we're at. I got the back end bolted on, kind of. I'll show you. So we've got those wheel jigs, or whatever the scientific word is, holding that up holding the hubs up at the correct height. I've got this over here, that goes at the back like that, and then the rearmost mounting point of the subframe goes on the top of that one and that one. Reason I've got these funny tubes here on the top, it was bolted directly to that, but I've since changed my mind and I want it to be higher. And you see these notches cut in, it's because this bar was actually hitting on the subframe, so I had to cut those notches. Doing this is going to raise it and push a bit more clearance out. I've already notched it, but clearance is always good. All I've got to do is drill my holes in those two, and then I can bolt it up. You'll see I've made a mistake as well. No biggie, mistakes are inevitable. They will happen and you will always learn. I measured the track width of this I measured the track width of that when it was sitting on the ground. So at like pretty much full compression, pretty much on the bump stops. As it goes through its range of travel, the track width actually lengthens and shortens, which I didn't account for. So where it's sitting, that's not its right height, that's just sitting there, balancing pretty much. But when it's sitting at its right height, you'll see now it is too, the wheel jigs are actually bent out like this, pushing positive camber, which I will run a bit of positive camber, but not that much. That's extreme. Anyway, I think that's it for this video. Cheers for watching. Sorry to end it on a bit of a dead end, but yeah, it's getting pretty close now. So all we're gonna do is bolt this rear end up, and then I believe I can start making the plan for the chassis, which is pretty exciting. So cool as. Sweet, cheers for watching. Hopefully next video we'll have all this done and we start planning the chassis, so that's exciting. We'll see ya in the next one.